Kev, we changed competitions on Saturday with a trip to Eastleigh. How big is the motivation from everybody inside the camp to improve the performance, but also progress in this competition?
Yeah, listen, we want to win. Nothing changed in that respect in terms of competition or whether it's league or FA Cup. We want to progress in this competition. Absolutely, I think it's a great competition, even though things have changed in it in recent years. But we go into it with a tough away fixture, and we know we want to improve from the last performance.
Yeah, off the back of a couple of defeats, which can happen in football, of course. Obvious question now. You probably want to try and arrest that at the earliest opportunity and put that right.
Of course, yeah. Listen, I think that's reflect on the game. We didn't play anywhere near the level we want to play at, but there was nothing in it in terms of we probably had the better chances. We've conceded off a set play, which was frustrating. So yeah, disappointed with that. But as you say, it's on to the next game. Had a good week of training so far, and we'll continue that tomorrow.
Yeah, you touched upon it a little bit just then as well. The FA Cup, it's a special competition, of course. You've some good memories of it as a player. When I remember sort of White Hart Lane as one of those sort of days. How important would it be to sort of do something in this competition as a manager?
Yeah, of course. I think as a football club as well, it'd be good to try and go as far as you can. Obviously, you've got one game at a time, and as I say, it's a tough one, and as tough as it could probably get away from home. But one that I think both teams will look at it like that way, and hopefully, I think we can go get a positive result. And in the hat, Eastleigh had a good FA Cup run last year, I believe, so they'll know what that feels like. But we've got to go there and put a performance in, and hopefully come out the right side of a result.
Yeah, and both teams will know each other very well, playing the same division, but also played already this season, so players will be sort of aware of who they're sort of coming up against. Will that result play any part, do you think, coming on into Saturday?
Yeah, possibly. I think in terms of you'll know players you're coming up against, systems, etc. But when you cross the white line, the players have got to perform, and has done that earlier in the season, and they'll need to do it again to get a result.
Yeah, and just finally, as well, are you hopeful at all of trying to sort of welcome anybody back from the treatment room into the squad this weekend?
Like to. Danny Waldron stepped up his progress. Cav Miley's been, with the physio. Ollie Coker's done some training, which is important. So they're all getting closer, which is important because you can see the squad needs it at the minute.
Cheers, thank you.
Would you say that this FA Cup weekend's come at a good time for the team?
This comes at the same time every year, so we're ready for it.
And Blues' recent history, obviously, in the competition hasn't been the best. What's the key to changing that?
Just win the next game. It's that's all it is. Whether it's the league, the FA Cup, anything like that, we need to. There's no rhyme or reason why not. Last year was difficult away at Yeovil where we didn't have any players, but yeah, you've got to perform.
Nathan Ralph said that he feels the team let you down on Saturday against Maidenhead. Have you been pleased with the response you've seen this week?
Yeah, I don't think these players ever let me down. I think. We win as a team, we lose as a team, and we've done that since I've been here. So, no, they haven't let me down at all. I think they've trained ever so well. They're an honest bunch. What we are is probably a team in transition a little bit. At the back end of last year, we had a team that should have finished in the playoffs, that probably just needed tweaking without anything major changing. I think if you look now, we've brought in a few players that have had to replace, and what's gone out means that we still want to add 2 or 3 bits of real quality to help the what's already in here, and that hasn't changed. What it is probably a difficult market at the minute. That it's still the early stages of the season. Teams are settling into squads, but we know what we want, and we need a couple of bits to help the ones that are already here.
Is there any update on some of the injured lads? How close could they be to possibly coming back for Saturday?
No, as I just said, Danny Waldron's been out doing a bit on the grass, and so's Cav Miley, and Ollie Coker's joined in some training as well.
Do you have a favourite FA Cup memory, Kevin?
Difficult, really. I don't think. You obviously mentioning going to White Hart Lane was personally for me very good, but yeah, probably up there. That's probably one of the highlights.
What do you think a real big cup run would do for this squad? You obviously haven't been quite getting the results in the league at the moment.
No, I think for everyone, any time a club goes on, I think it will help. As the club have said, with finances, I think that's always a side of it. Confidence, winning football matches breeds confidence. So it all helps. Winning football matches is the biggest thing, but if it helps in terms of if you can get through a few rounds, and you've seen it before where clubs pick up, big ties, then I'm sure we all strive for that.
Obviously, you're not going to tell me your team for Saturday, but is this a chance for some of the players who haven't been starting regularly to get a run out?
Listen, we always tend to pick the team on training and what we see on a day-to-day basis and what the opposition do and what we feel like we need in terms of where form's at with players. But players generally pick the team with how they train, and all of them have trained ever so well this week.
Will Gus Morris be available? I know he's got a suspension. Is that for the league or does it?
Yeah, listen, Gus will be there for us.
And off the football pitch, I know you and some of the staff here at the club are raising funds and awareness for prostate cancer. You're doing a challenge, which I believe is a different form of exercise every day. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how's that been going?
Yeah, no, difficult. Obviously, we're running 5K every day, and we've done it for the last few years, and it's probably something we probably need to get out there a bit more because, the more money we can raise, the better. But it's always a good cause, and, Steph, our S&C head of that department, runs it and gets us going every year. So it's a challenge, but one for a brilliant cause.
That's a serious effort. How are you feeling physically?
Yeah, not bad. Just a bit under the weather at the minute, but yeah, listen, once you get going, the hardest part is sometimes getting started, and the lads the staff are all at it. So really pleased with everyone.
And finally, today, Thursday, 10th of October, is World Mental Health Day, and the club have obviously done a lot with the match from mine against Maidenhead and the darts midweek. How proud are you that the club takes it so seriously, mental health? Yeah,
hugely proud. I think it's something that's become we're more aware of in recent years, and it's something that probably taken for granted a little bit years gone by. But I think it's important, the message that you to speak to people. I think however you're feeling, and it's something that within a football club has become more prevalent. With players, staff as well. It's hard. The job you're in now, I'm in, comes with a pressure. You lose a game, and all of a sudden it's the end of the world. You win a game, you're the best thing since sliced bread. That's football. So it's important, someone in my position even, that you've got to take a step back. And where you can be so down after a game or losing, that if you've got to look logically and you can speak to people away from the game and go on what you see. Because I think it happens right across the board, whether it's players, staff, managers, supporters. I think what we've been through as a football club throughout last year and the last 18 months, where people didn't think we were going to have a football club, people at the club having to work beyond everything that's gone on. I think that's important to remember that, because you might lose a few games and all of a sudden it's the end of the world for people. People have gone through a lot here, and that's a lot of staff behind the scenes, a lot of players, and that's had an effect without a shadow of a doubt. So for the club to be doing what they're doing is brilliant, and I think recognising that, and I think a lot of people need to recognise that as well.
Is it quite an open environment in the dressing room where players feel comfortable to talk about that sort of thing? I imagine it probably is with everything you've been through. Yeah,
I think what you've got to realise is, probably a lot of the players that are probably from last year have moved on probably sooner than we would have thought or realised. So we've got a new change room to a certain extent. And how tight they were last year, we're adding to that now and building again. And I think it's important that they feel comfortable being able to speak to myself, or is there someone away from the club, because sometimes they don't want to open up to managers. But we've always been pretty open. The door's always been open for myself and the staff, and anyone wants to speak, then we're always here.
Thanks, Kim.
Do you think the FA Cup's still as important as it once was, or do you think it's lost a little bit of that buzz maybe?
Yeah, possibly. You look at going back to when Man United pulled out of it, I don't think that was something that probably should have happened or should have been allowed to happen. I used to remember growing up watching the Saturday morning build-up was the best thing in the world as a young lad. And you're watching the all day ready for the final. So that's probably gone a little bit, if I'm being honest. But I think once you get there and you get through and you can win games, I think the magic is still there, and I think it can still be there.
Yeah, we've got a few players on loan at the moment. Are they all okay to play in this competition?
Yeah, we'll obviously check with their clubs and that, and we'll know nearer the date.
And I've got to ask you, any signings? Is there anything close with that? Or?
Not at the minute. Listen, it's obvious we need to add a couple of real bits of quality if we can, to add to what we've got and what we brought in, and obviously what's gone out the door. So, without a shadow, we're in a bit of a transition, a bit of a rebuild that we didn't think we were needed, but we know we need 2 or 3 bits of real quality.